Friends and family. I was going to give you another update and I started typing. I'm like, oh my God, there's so much to go on. I'm just going to do a video. Hope you don't mind. And sorry about the mess. Still kind of recovering from the pipes breaking and stuff. I haven't redone my room, put bookcases back in and stuff since the pipes broke. I just want to make sure I buy the house before I go putting money into new furniture and that kind of thing. So there's item number one. Pipes broke. It's been a couple months. We got all that fixed. Then our water heater went out. We got that fixed. Nice to be able to get that kind of stuff fixed on the current owner's dime instead of my dime, because a month or two from now, and that would have been me paying for that. So buying the house I've lived in for 28 years now. The owners have been amazing. They've been so good to work with. Obviously for the last 28 years. People have asked me many times, why do I rent the house for all these years? And the answer is I couldn't afford to move. I'm paying 1900, or we are paying $1,900 a month in rent here. It is ridiculously low. Same model in our community is renting for 3,500. So, that's the whole reason I haven't moved in the last 10 years. I've had the finances to buy a house or go move into something nicer, but anything I moved into would be, pay twice as much for the same thing. So, they've been phenomenal with us while we lived here. And the whole reason for that was, probably about, when they bought the house originally in 1988, and they bought it for $215,000. And it went down immediately thereafter, right in that dip of the late 80s housing market. So when we moved in 93, I think, yeah, 93, and they were dramatically underwater. He was a fighter pilot in the Navy. He just retired as an admiral, and he got transferred back to Washington D.C. and they were underwater, so they rented it to us. And we'd lived here about 6 years. And they gave us a call and said, "Hey, we think we can finally get our money back. We're going to sell. Do you want to buy it?" And I said, "I don't have the finances to buy it, but you're crazy if you sell. Southern California real estate is going to go bonkers." And I talked them into keeping the place. They raised our rent to a point where it covered their mortgage. And for the last basically 20 years, we've paid their mortgage. And they're so appreciative that we changed their lives financially, because now they have an $800,000 plus house that's free and clear, and we paid for it. And so they've been amazing with us to work with. We came up with a price. We're paying $802,000 for the house. Same model, same house, a little more updated. Went on the market in July, went on the market at 820, sold in 4 days for 880. No, excuse, yeah, 880. So, it would be really conceivable for this house to sell in the 860, 870 range. We're getting it for 802. And they're completely willing to just wait and be contingent on my father's estate clearing up and the money coming out of that. They're in no rush. And so they've just been great to work with. So that's all proceeding. I've never bought a home before, so oh my God, the proctology exam that that is purchasing a home is craziness. And that's like the lenders have never dealt with a self-employed person before. They've come back and said things like, "What happens if you lose your largest client?" And to which I said, "What happens if my largest client buys another company that has 25 employees and I just made an extra $2,000 because that just happened, and my largest client is growing by 25 employees a month starting January 1st. And so, it's like saying to someone who works at a job, what happens if you lose your job? We can't finance you. That world is just nuts. So I'm going to take the money from Curtis's estate and roll that in, make that a down payment, and go from there. The one bummer is I never have that morning where I wake up and it's like, yay, I'm in my new beautiful home. That's so exciting. I really am going to wake up one day and I'm going to have given away a lot of money and signed a lot of paperwork, and I'll be in the same home I've been waking up in for the last 28 years. Oh well. Curtis's estate is progressing. My father, for those of you who don't know, passed last July, and without a will, without a trust, without anything. I found I have a half brother, Sean. He's going to be one of the people watching this video, so I'll say nice things about him. Seems like a really good guy. The moment I found him on Instagram, I'm like, yeah, that could be my half brother, definitely. A couple friends said the same thing. It's like, you guys look way too much alike. You're definitely related. And he seems like a real solid guy. So he's a fireman. He's retired now because he got injured. Happens to also live in San Diego. So and we seem to get along really well. Um, it's not been contentious at all. I'm the administrator of the estate, and we're just having that go through the probate process. He lived in Seal Beach, had a little place probably 100 yards off the water in Seal Beach. And when I say little place, it was 540 square feet. And then built in 1921, I think it was. And then a little two-car garage that had an apartment built above that. We sold it for almost $1.3 million just because the location was so phenomenal. Um, and it's going through the probate process, and we had to sell his stuff and go through all that. So that's been a project over the last year, and the money's all in the estate account right now, and we're waiting for the court to disperse it. Frankly, should happen sometime maybe in late December, early January, and the money will roll through to Sean and I, and like I say, I'm going to use that for the down payment to buy this house. So, in the end, 50 something years later, Kurt will have supported me in making sure that, my mom and I have housing taken care of for certainly the rest of her life and probably a good chunk of the rest of my life. Um, I wish I knew him better. Everyone loves him, and we always got along really well, but never managed to stay in touch. Odd situation, I know. But in the end, he wound up kind of inadvertently taking care of both Sean and I, who he didn't have anything to do with during our lives. Weird circumstance. What else is going on? Business is good. This is my crazy busy time of year, which is part of the reason I haven't sent out one of these update notes in 45 days, 2 months, something like that. Um, it's everybody's doing their renewals right now. All my groups, most of them renewed December 1st or January 1st, and every individual renews January 1st. So it's like I'm a CPA and it's about March 25th. It's my crazy busy time of year, and frankly, I'm just taking a mental brain break right now to record this video on a Friday afternoon because finally I've had a slow day. And I've had a number of you asking me, well, you were giving me those updates and I haven't seen any. All's good at work. I had one face-to-face meeting this year. One group wanted me to come in and do enrollment meetings face-to-face. And it's really sad that I found that none of my clothes in my closet fit. That was really sad. I had to go out and buy new clothes, new pants. Oh God. So got to start walking again. I had the problem with my ankle, and that was on my right ankle for 14 months, all through the pandemic. I wasn't able to walk. I had to stay off it as much as possible. The scar tissue from my surgical procedures when I was a kid opens up, and it's not the first time this has happened. We can't figure out what causes it, and scar tissue on ankle is really slow healing. Anything below your knee heals very slowly, I have found, and that took 14 months. I've had this before, and sometimes it takes a month, sometimes it takes a year. So right as I started walking again, my left ankle's open right now. I know, it sucks. But the good news is I caught it really early. I knew how to treat it. It's almost healed. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's healed up by another 10 days or so. It's looking really good. We just nipped it in the bud and got it taken care of. So I haven't been walking for exercise for the last 2 or 3 weeks either. So I like eating and I'm not exercising, so I'm getting fat. That's no bueno. Mom's doing fine. Her memory's going, and so she spends some time fumbling and bumbling around. But I'm doing everything I can to take stuff off of her plate. We have meal delivery services coming in and bringing dinners in. Just really easy prep stuff, and then Grubhub and Uber Eats and stuff for good food. She's still taking care of me and giving me showers and stuff like that. And I've got a friend of mine who worked for Ed and I 10 years ago, coming in a day or two a week just to work for a couple 3 hours in the afternoons, clean stuff up. I'm just trying to get Mom used to somebody being here and helping with things, and she's really taken to it, with the next step being I want to get eventually someone to live here, and kind of be responsible for making sure dinner gets in us and things are tidy and organized, and we'll see what happens. Whatever Mom's got. I mean, she just turned 78. She looks great. And whatever she's got is very slow moving. I mean, I first saw signs of it probably a decade ago. And, she's still functional, but she's out there kind of driving around not knowing where she's going and getting lost and stuff. Yeah. She asked me one day a couple weeks ago, or a couple days ago, she asked me what I do for a living. How do you earn your money? Insurance? Oh, yeah, yeah. That's scary. She went to the dentist recently, had written out instructions. I wasn't able to go to the meeting with her. She went to the dentist and said she wound up stumbling into the right office. She had a piece of paper in her hand that had the directions. She says, I'm looking for a place to get a massage, and it's by a Subway. Who knows where that came from? She was going to the dentist, and it was next to a Union Bank, and that's what was written on the paper. So, luckily the receptionist recognized her and said, oh, no, you're in the right place. Come on in. So it's getting scary. Um, Still functional, but we got to do a lot of overseeing. So sad. What's the long-term answer? I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna take money, and so that's all I'm focused on. Along those lines, I've been doing quite a bit of cryptocurrency and NFT investing in the last few months, and I'm going to do a completely other video about this probably later today. But some of you already know I got freaking robbed. I had a NFT cryptocurrency account, and someone hacked it back in mid-September. I woke up one day to a bunch of emails saying, congratulations, you've sold this. Congratulations, you've sold that. I didn't sell any of it, so someone hacked my freaking account. And it's probably gone for good. And, the value at the time is probably $30,000 worth of stuff. And, they sold it overnight at cheap prices, so they got about $17,000 for it, something like that. The problem is some of the things that I bought, I chose wisely, and they've gone up in value. It's probably closer to $55,000 in value now. For those of you who are doing NFTs, I had a Mutant Ape Yacht Club NFT and a Rumble Kong. If any of you are familiar with the NFTs, those are two of the hottest ones out there. They're going kind of crazy. I had a bunch of other ones that haven't done that well, but those were the two biggies. And yeah, they're gone. I've hired a private investigator, and some interesting stuff has come from that. We may be able to track the person. We actually, through the grapevine, have tracked it back to a Brazilian Facebook account, which now has a person attached. So they're surveilling a person. The FBI is involved. Interpol is involved. And that may be the way that eventually I recover some of these assets. Is, of course, I've filed, paperwork saying stolen property, and filed it to the FBI. And with them involved, there's a small chance, of getting something back. So if you're considering doing cryptocurrency and NFT, I still think it's a great way to. I think it's a wave of the future. I think it's the very beginnings of it. And I also know firsthand that it's the wild, wild west, and someone can just come and take your shit. And I'm going to do another video where I get into the technical aspects of what happened for some techie friends and stuff. So you can watch that one if you want to. Anyway, wow, 13 minutes. Sorry. You see what I mean? I couldn't have typed all this. I hope you're doing well. Have a great Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, etc. You keep in touch, shoot me an email back, whatever. Sorry about the length and detail of this, but I've had a number of people asking me for updates, and I just couldn't type all this. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.